Posted by you/ago902121 wondering if I'm making a mistake, just need some advice from a totally objective third party. Sorry for the long thread, but just trying to get all the detail I can in. 2 years ago I, 29M, proposed to my at the time girlfriend, 27F. She was elated and said yes. We've been together for almost 9 years, living together for the entire time. Things have always been great between the two of us, with no issues of infidelity ever occurring. Fast forward 3 months and COVID starts to hit, with mandatory stay-at-home orders and closures. Being an essential worker, I was kept busy through the entirety of COVID, but my fiancé's job closed and allowed the employees to collect unemployment for about 2 months or so. My fiancé is a social person, so this wasn't ideal for her. During this stay-at-home order, I noticed my fiancé had made a new friend from work, Mark, 21M. Over the course of the stay-at-home order, they texted every day. Towards the end, she started hanging out with him at his place with his brother and roommate and other co-workers. Never having any issues of infidelity, I had no problem with this. I always trusted her and knew she was more comfortable with guy friends because, in her words, they were less drama. She would always assure me that they never hung out alone and it was always with other people around. After the stay-at-home order was lifted, they began hanging out minimum of twice a week. She would go over to his house sometimes until 1 or 2 in the morning, and then Uber home just plastered drunk. Once again, always assuring it wasn't just them alone. One day she invites me out to drinks with her other coworker, who is her best friend and her BF. I am pretty close with this friend as well, so I respect and trust her opinion. My fiancé goes to the bathroom and she begins telling me that she can't believe I let her hang out with Mark knowing he has feelings for her, and let them hang out alone because he's such a weasel. We get home from the bar that night and I question her about it, asking if she knew he has feelings for her and if they ever hung out alone. She denies all of it, of course. I tell her I feel uncomfortable with her hanging out with him and she rebukes everything and says it's not a problem, don't worry about it. Things start to take a turn and get weird between us after that fight. A few weeks later she tells me she wasn't ready to be engaged yet and she just wants to not have the pressure of an engagement yet and be able to make stupid decisions and be young. I tell her I guess I understand. I ask her if it has anything to do with Mark and she says no, but that lead us to start talking about their relationship. She tells me she knows he has feelings for her, and that she finds him attractive but knows she wants to spend the rest of her life with me, so nothing would ever come from it. So she continues hanging out with him every weekend. Although I notice she starts taking more time getting ready, and wearing sexy lingerie and other random things of that nature. Valentine's Day rolls around and I have plans to surprise her with fancy dinner reservations that I've had for weeks. About 2 p.m. she gets a call from Mark asking if she wants to go up to the mountains. We live about 45 minutes away, and take photos, because a few weeks back he decided to quit the job they worked at and become a photographer, so he needs to work on his portfolio. Without hesitation she tells him yes. She asks me if it's okay and I tell her I feel really uncomfortable with it if it's just the two of them and would rather her not. She says it'll be fine, not to worry about it, it'll only be a couple of hours. I give in and just ask her to be back by 4:45, trying to keep the secret of the dinner reservations. So she begins getting ready, once again dressed up in sexy lingerie, and leaves. 4:45 rolls around and she's a no-show. I try calling to see where she's at, no answer. 5:45 rolls around and I get a text saying they are leaving now and will be back in an hour, and that they got stuck behind a snowplow and that's the reason for being late. She gets home around 6:45. I tell her about the plan for dinner and she seems not bothered and we get into a fight. I accuse her of something going on and she denies. A few months later Mark starts to ghost her and they begin talking less and less. I'm pretty happy about it. She seemed to get really upset about it for a while. But eventually things started to get back to normal. We were connecting again like we had before. She even told me she wanted her ring back. We were back to our old selves, it seemed. A couple weeks later we were out with her best friend again. My fiancé was playing pool with her friend's BF and we were chatting. She brought up Mark. I told her things had gotten back to normal, or so I thought. Then she started telling me about how weird it was I was okay letting my fiancé hang out alone all the time with a guy my fiancé had feelings for, and that she thought she had cheated on me at least once, and that even my fiancé's mother told her not to tell me if she cheated or had feelings for this guy because it would be better for my mental Health if I didn't know. This ends the night and my fiancé and I go home. We get into a blowout fight. I tell her to be absolutely honest with me and tell me everything. She tries to basically hide everything until I tell her what her friend told me. She opens up a little and tells me yes, she was attracted to the guy and liked how he gave her attention and that they hung out alone, and confirmed what her mom said. But she still adamantly said she did not cheat on me. So now here we are today. Short and sweet, things are pretty good now. She doesn't hang out with Mark anymore. We are back to wedding planning. Our relationship seems pretty strong. But I still just don't feel right about the whole situation. I feel like she got cold feet about the wedding, cheated on me, and refuses to tell me. Because she knows I wouldn't stick around if she did, and knows now it was a mistake. I guess I'm just wondering if anyone else has had a similar situation and has any input on the matter. Update 1. Thank you all for the responses, they really did help. Apparently airing a matter like this out for the first time to total strangers gives you a case of the fat thumbs. I have taken the advice of a few of you and got in touch with Mark. From talking to him, I've chosen to partially believe what he's told me, because what reason does he have to lie? Which, to sum things up, apparently nothing physically happened between the two, but she made advances towards him and he rebuked them. Still, that's enough evidence from him and encouragement from the likes of this group to persuade me to pack my belongings and head out. Contrary to belief, being a doormat is not something I enjoy, but as I'm sure some of you have experienced, being in a relationship that was good for so long makes it tough to accept truth sometimes. So once more, thank you for the encouragement. It was just enough to push me over the hill. And if anything else develops, I'll keep you informed. Posted by you/I cheated 76. I cheated on my boyfriend and want to come clean but don't know how. I cheated on my boyfriend in undergrad, including have sex 4 times. I deeply regret it. How do I come clean? I, F20, have a confession to make. I cheated on my boyfriend, M28, a few times and I want to come clean. So some backstory. I know you are all going to jump on the age gap, so let me explain. My boyfriend and I met when I was 18 and he was 25. I was just finishing up high school and was a youth delegate at a convention when we met. We hit it off, exchanged numbers, and stayed in touch. As I was looking for career and university advice, I contacted him frequently and we developed a strong affinity and connection. Over time, this grew into mutual feelings. After another friend of mine, also F18 then, who I guess also became his friend, forced us to admit our feelings. C was the type who could figure these things out. To each other did we start dating. Our relationship over that summer went well. He had never been in a relationship before, while I have had some teen dates but nothing serious. Now again, you might think someone being 25 and never having had any relationship would be a red flag, but in this case it was a pure false alarm. He was an amazing partner, being respectful and kind and never once pushing boundaries. I loved having an older boyfriend who already was on his way up in his career. It made me feel special that a man with a good job saw something in me, a young woman who just graduated high school. His mentorship, advice, and desire to see me succeed made him both a partner but also a mentor. Something which made things really special. Anyway, that summer we didn't progress beyond kissing and I went off to university. He visited me regularly and attended all college balls with me. My college is a bit formal and traditional in that regard. He helped me manage school and extracurricular, helped me study, and aided my political ambitions. We also got closer intimately with our first make-outs and sexual acts. Our first time was in a nice hotel room after the first year finals. It really felt like he was taking me on our honeymoon. Our relationship was amazing. But something was missing. University is normally a time when people explore their sexuality and really enjoy themselves. Plus, as sad as it is, being sexually active with the right people is needed to resume, build, and advance. Student politics is quite a big deal at my college due to a lot of overambitious people here. So I did things I deeply regret and had affairs with other guys. It started small, overly long and romantic, like hugs with guys to get political votes. But soon it worsened. I was willing to do things to get ahead. Started with some kisses but soon went beyond. On 4 different occasions I had sex with powerful guys to help boost my political career. Again, college-level politics and status is a really big deal here. At that time I felt was doing what needed to be done and what everyone does. But soon after I started regretting it. I am just finishing up my 3rd year of undergrad and I'm realizing how stupid it was. Not stupid politics, I do very much care about college affairs. But how it was stupid to sell out my values and betray my loving boyfriend for personal ambition and resume padding. I tried to justify it by telling myself that I'd use connections to land him a better job. Or if I got one myself I'd be sure to spend more money on him. But those were just excuses. I was wrong. I admit it. I F8'd up and need help. How do I come clean? Update 1. Confessed to my boyfriend and he is deeply hurt, as am I anyway. Last Saturday I invited him to come to the lakefront for a walk and told him to clear his day as I had some important news to share. I forewarned him that the news wasn't he most pleasant but was necessary. Meanwhile, I started working on an apology letter. I handwrote it and doing so was extremely painful as I had to relieve the regret of all that I did. It especially hurt because I used my special pen that he gave me as a gift to celebrate my first office job. I broke down several times in tears. I wrote and sealed the letter and took it with me to the park. As would be normal, I baked some cookies for us to eat. As normal, we met at a cafe, he bought coffee for us both, and we then proceeded to the lakefront park. I sat us down on a bench and took out my home-baked cookies for us to share. I then proceeded to tell him about college politics and how crookedness involves people doing what they regret. I then told him that I partook in it and told him clearly, while crying, all that I did which I deeply regretted. I gave him the letter saying that I had explained it all there. I apologized extensively but he was upset, angry, and hurt. The latter being the most prominent. While he tried to hide it, he was clearly crying. He walked to the road, purchased what appeared to be pure espresso, got in a taxi, a rare thing for him to do as he would usually walk, bike share, or use transit, and left. I then called my best friend, aside from him, the one whom I said got us to confess our feelings, and told her everything. She was shocked and angry at me but also understood that I had deeply regretted what I did. She said that she would go visit him to console him while I should give him his space and continue to show remorse. I sent him a card once again deeply apologizing. As per our friend, he is severely depressed and extremely hurt. He has not broken up with me, but he is not speaking with me. As for myself, I keep feeling the regret and pain, especially with all the reminder. For example, he is the one that has purchased, directly or indirectly, most of wardrobe and all my watches and other business accessories. He is the one who helped me prep for all my interviews and mentored me every step of the way. He is the one who was always there for me when times were tough. We had a great relationship, and I ruined it by hurting him. I know what I did was wrong. I felt differently at the time it happened, but I realized that I had messed up. I hurt both him and myself and I deeply regret what I did. I hope that he and I can start working towards reconciliation. Update 2. I F20 am looking for ways to move on past the infidelity of myself and my boyfriend M28. In short, I cheated on my boyfriend M28 and deeply regret it. It was a painful experience for us both. The news hit him hard and he was severely depressed and had to take a leave of absence from work. Our good friend, the one who comforted him, lay in bed with him as he hugged her and cried himself to sleep. Apparently he woke up that morning with his head on her chest and, well, according to them, she kissed his head as he hugged her and cried. That soon moved on to real kisses and I'm pretty sure she seduced him into sleeping with her by using his anger to fulfill her desire to get back at me. He was upset about my infidelity. She was angry. Anyway, they never got into a relationship or anything, but did sleep together one more time. So I guess we are even. Apparently they did consider actually dating but soon realized that while they are good friends, they were not compatible in the long run. Like I said, he wanted a driven, successful woman and she isn't it. Anyways, their compatibility was not there, so they broke it off. He still refused to speak to me despite my efforts to reach out to him. He apparently was in tears for weeks. During that time, since I thought we had broken off, I slept with my childhood friend M21 once. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I got our friend to moderate the discussion between us. He confessed to what the two of them did. I asked if he still felt for me and he said that he did. I told him that I still wish to continue our relationship and that we should forgive each other and move on. He admitted he was hurt, and still had difficulty processing it all. He cried and broke down and said that he is willing to give me another chance. I promised that I would never cheat on him again and to be better partner and move on. He apologized for what he did with our friend and I apologized as well. For me, the next step is figuring out how do we improve our relationship going forward. Further, our friend is still mad at me and I fear that she is trying to steal him or something. What can I do about that? So far, things have gotten back to normal. We went on a weekend getaway together and he purchased some new business attire and jewelry for me, as well as taken me to fancy restaurant for dinner weekly. So things are going well, but I want to ensure that this relationship stays and that our friend doesn't try to ruin it or take him from me. How do I protect the relationship and my friendship? Posted by you/IC_elevator_7886. The girl I loved cheated on me with my friend and both lied to me after. I was seeing a girl and at first it wasn't anything serious. She had gotten out of a 10-year marriage and just wanted some fun. She told me how her ex would cheat on her and how she got even. She also had 2 boys. I would see other girls at this time, as well as her because we weren't exclusive. The more time I spent with her though, the more we began to like each other and I talked about dating. Wrong move, as it has to be her idea. She agreed to date casually. My feelings grew faster than hers did and we spent a nice day together and then I left, but all I could think was how a girl I cared for was going off with other guys. So I got a message on Reddit from one of the adult communities I follow and it was from a girl with an account that was only half a day old. She said how she liked the content I posted on the thread and wanted to meet up. I was chatting to her and suddenly she fakes shock and recognizes me as the guy who was her friend, the girl I saw. The girl I cared for messaged me and attacked me. I told her that if you casually date you just see other people, you aren't exclusive. I thought she was doing this. She said she wanted to be exclusive and I agreed happily. I was seeing the girl I cared for and I was over the moon, but the situation where I nearly sleep with her friend kept playing on her mind. I went out to my friend's birthday 3 days later and she sends me a message just before, saying she wished I was there and that when she was on her own before she used to get people around to keep her company. I begged her not to do anything and told her I cared for her and voiced how angry I was that she was thinking this. I get a missed call at 3 a.m. I was asleep. Next day I call her and she says an old friend with benefits messaged her last night and she turned him down, even though it was hard. I went from feeling secure to insecure. I had an ex who cheated on me a lot when I was younger and it was one of the worst times of my life. I thought she was seeing someone else. I couldn't trust her. I begged her not to sleep with other people. I was weak. I had a chance after this happened to leave and be with someone else who valued me, as I was talking to a few nice girls before we were exclusive that liked me. She then began to become obsessed with wanting a threesome and always told me it was too hard to get a girl, but asked if I had a friend who would be keen to do it with us. 5th red flag. I stupidly reached out to my friend and said he would be keen, but at the last moment I pulled out and my friend understood. She promised that she wanted to be exclusive and she wanted me. She tried to change me, didn't want me to smoke, didn't want me to swear around her and I did like a stupid people pleaser. Last month she stopped being insecure and seemed happy but distant. I brushed it off and thought it was anxiety playing tricks on me. She stops putting in the effort with her makeup, stops talking as much, becomes bitchier and then seems to have these waves of guilt and affection towards me. She said yesterday, "You don't have to take me out, we can just stay at home." I liked dating her and spending time with her and treating her. She asked me if I was okay when we were watching TV together and I told her that I was. I had shrugged off my insecurities and was feeling happy. She got a message from my friend and I asked her in an amused way what my friend wanted, and she said we are just saying good things about you. I asked if I could see and she laughed and said no, it's embarrassing. She got a knock at the door and the TV was still playing, so I didn't want her to miss the show we were watching on YouTube from her phone. I picked up the phone to pause the show, but then I checked her messages to my friend and she was saying I wish you were here with me instead. My heart sank. A solid month of my gut instinct screaming at me and me ignoring it, thinking it was my anxiety disorder playing tricks on me. I was right. I was shocked and I was numb. She came into the room, saw me with her phone in my hands and I did an evil smirk at her and I saw this fear fled her eyes. She screamed, "Get dressed, and I want you to be gone once I'm back in 2 minutes." She didn't talk to me or apologize, she just got defensive because I had caught her. I messaged her and said how I cared about her and how could she do this to me. She kept denying she had anything to do with him, but I saw the texts clear as day. I told her to have a nice life and blocked her from everything. I called my friend and he didn't answer like the coward he was. He messaged me and said he didn't talk to her and then eventually admitted he was only messaging her and did nothing else. I told him she wouldn't talk to me, and he said it was because I looked at her phone. I told him he had lost a friend and said that he will pay karma for what he has done to me, and then I blocked him. 2 people, a girl who said she loved me and a friend who I had been there for, lied to my face, ruined my chances with some girls that actually liked me and have left me feeling unworthy, unlovable, and like an emotional husk. I was weak, I was vulnerable with the girl I loved. I got insecure because her insecurities worried me. I ignored red flags, I trusted the wrong people. I got played and now my heart is broke and my mind is screwed. I can tell myself all the facts, use all the logic, feel all the feelings, but I just feel a bit dead inside and it feels like there is a worm wriggling in my brain, making me feel sick to my stomach. I never wanted to hurt her, I cared about her. I don't know why she would do this to me. I would understand if I went out of my way to hurt her, but it was never the case. I hadn't opened up to someone for 5 years, and with the help of my psychologist I was vulnerable with this girl. I dropped my guard and brought down my defenses. I thought someone could love me again and be intimate with me again. Instead my heart was wrecked. I was dishonored by 2 people I trusted. I feel like a fool. Posted by you/Notagudapple, my lover and worst enemy. She claims that she still loves me and only wants to be with me. I have never had anybody disrespect me like she has done. This all began on around February 20th, 21, when I found a notebook on the couch. Sexually explicit writings inside. We used to write each other like this. The last time she wrote me anything like this was 4 years ago. Right around our 6-year anniversary, I discovered that she slept with multiple guys. She admitted to cheating on me once every other week for the whole 6-year duration of our relationship, with no intention of ever being faithful. She first admitted to multiple partners, then later told me it was only one. I grilled her and she told me the other guys didn't matter because she eventually stopped having sex with them. To this day I see no logic in that statement, but when she said that I could tell she truly believed it. She was using a tablet and iPhone I bought her for Christmas for communication. She kept them at work. The following day after the initial confrontation and half-ass confession, it took me 6 hours to break her down because she lied throughout the whole confession. She brought both devices home and handed to me as if they were supporting evidence of her confession. Both devices were wiped clean. She looked me right in the eyes with a straight face and acted confused. She also gave me back my tablet. I opened it and it had all of my accounts still active. She could see every email and message I sent. She could see my GPS location at all times. I realized that I haven't even seen that tablet in years. In fact, I forgot it existed. At this moment I realized that she lied to me on a daily basis for 6 years straight, while starting into me eyes and telling me she loves me. I didn't suspect a thing previous to this, and I'm not an idiot. She's a pro. She admitted to cheating on every person she's ever dated or married. Somehow she didn't give me HIV. She lives and hides in the cloud. Google Docs, Evernote, Dropbox, Comcast, Yahoo, Gmail, Twitter, Facebook, Hotmail, endless service providers. I discovered over 30 email addresses that she made. I found porn videos of her online by searching one of her email handles, previous to his dating, timeline only verifiable by tattoos. One of her APS, affair partners, is married and she's been sleeping with him for several years before me. She has his name along with several symbolic features unique to them tattooed on her body. I've seen this guy's name hidden within her tattoos every time I've had sex with her. I made sure to let his wife know. The woman, who I thought I loved and knew, even showed me photos of this guy and screenshots of several conversations she's had with him online. Looking back, I can see she was introducing his presence to me early on in the relationship to desensitize me to his presence. She claimed he lived in another state, just a comic book geek friend she used to work with. The night of the discovery, her 15-year-old son approached me and said she does this to everyone. I don't know how you lasted this long. Ever since that initial confession, her and her son, who looks up to me and loves me, have moved out. She has refused to talk to me about any details. She still only admits to one person even though we both know that's a lie. At one time she told me that she believes she's a narcissist. Upon doing some research, I kind of believe that. To this day she will still deny everything and lie to me if I ask any questions. She'll deny things she previously admitted to. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the notification bell as well.